Brian. How's it going?
I'm doing fantastic. We just got done with an amazing podcast conversation, and I am super amped and ready to go. Got to check this notification. Okay. It looks like we are live.
Awesome.
Welcome, everybody, to the first ever Dream Achiever Series live stream events for A World Empowered. I get to sit here with my friend, Jenn Adamson. And first of all, I'm going to assume that not everybody out there knows who I am. So I'm Brian BCD Chaco. For 15 years, I ran my own custom furniture company. And, sometimes people ask me, why do I feel confident or competent to talk about the dream achieving? Because that's the title of my book. That helps. But also, I retired when I was 38, shut down my business, spent a year traveling the world, and came back from that experience to start a nonprofit. And now I'm able to spend and dedicate my entire life to helping others achieve their dreams. My mission statement is we help people who like helping people to help more people. And the reason that we're doing these live stream events and the Dream Achiever series is so we can help facilitate that kind of life experience for other people so that we can help people achieve their dreams. I get to sit here with my dear friend, Jenn Adamson. We just reconnected for the first time. I think we decided in almost 7 or 8 years since we've talked or seen each other. Jenn is an amazing manifestation coach, specializing in teaching women how to attract abundance, love, and purpose with ease. She was also awarded the amazing 40 Under 40 Rising Star by one of Colorado's top publications. She's a practicing registered nurse, so she does that in her spare time while being a mom. And like I said, we just had the most amazing conversation on an hour-long podcast all about manifestation and achieving your dreams. And we talked about so many different things. But one of the things that really popped out to me was being of service and finding your path. I mean, we talked about a lot of stuff on there. We talked about manifestation and being in the right energy and being in the right mindset and following, why is it that you're doing what you're doing, and really being tuned in to what it is that you're trying to create and what that motivation is coming from. But one of the things that really jumped out to me was being of service to find your path. I would love it if you would expand a little bit more on that idea that we touched on.
Yeah.
Why does being of service help us? And why does being of service help move us towards or help guide us back to our path?
Oh my gosh, it's such a good question. And so it's kind of multifaceted, that my response to that question, but I'm happy you asked it. So, and I agree, that was actually just to say to the viewers out there, like that was an epic podcast. I've done a lot of those, and I could have kept going with Brian. So that was really, so thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And it's an honor to be here today. Again, here right now in this space.
We were such in flow. We could have easily gone for another 2 hours. Easily. My alarm went off so that we could jump on here and do this real quick. And we're still, as you can tell, we're still in this vibration and this high energy, but we definitely could have had another 2 hours worth of that. So
probably in the future. In the near future. But I love that question because and I'll speak to it personally, and then I'll also speak to it as a manifesting coach, as someone who coaches women in finding their purpose. So my background, my story, which you can learn more listening to Brian's podcast, but is that my story started about 15 years ago. I was in corporate PR. I was married to the wrong man, and I was waking up in the middle of the night, every night like clockwork at 3 a.m. in night sweats in a full-blown panic attack.
Sounds terrible.
My heart was pounding. I thought I was dying. I literally did. I thought I was dying. I thought I was having a heart attack. Thoughts were racing through my mind. And the one thought that kept going over and over and over again in my mind was, what the hell are you doing with your life right now, Jenn? And the reason that I had that question now, because, hindsight, looking back and reflecting and really like learning and dissecting that moment a lot over the last 15 years of my life, is that I was so out of alignment with where and who I was. I am someone who is an empath, which we talked about earlier.
We did touch on that.
About that is a gift. That is one of my gifts. That is one of your gifts. It is a gift. It's not a curse. And one of my gifts is to use my voice and to share my stories to inspire and to motivate people. And I knew that I was not doing that 15 years ago. Although I was too afraid at the time to admit it and to actually verbalize it. It wasn't until, and I shared this too, it wasn't until I actually came to a place where I was having suicidal thoughts. And I hadn't had suicidal thoughts for about 10 years prior. In high school is when I was suicidal in high school and battling major depressive disorder. And I sought the treatment, got the professional help, did everything that I needed to do to get that support. And then fast forward to this time where I'm, totally out of alignment with my purpose, with my soul's purpose. And it was that red flag that the universe gave me that said, Jenn, you need to start paying attention to what is happening in your life right now. And so now kind of with all of that as a background, what I have discovered is that it is so important I feel like we come to this earth meant to share our gifts. And there is not one single person on this earth that does not have a gift.
A unique gift.
A unique gift. Absolutely. Them. Absolutely. And it is our mission. I fully believe, and I'm bold in saying this, it is our mission in this lifetime to share that gift. And that is the purpose. That is everyone's purpose in life.
For sure.
And so it is to me, and I teach this with my clients, is to that gift is there. You have that gift. It may be dormant. You may need to dig deep a little bit, but it's there.
You figure out what it is and then figure out how to deliver it to the world.
Absolutely. And so being of service is what helps us get those shovels and we start digging.
Why?
That's allowed.
Why do you think that being of service helps us uncover our path and our true destiny?
Because sharing our gift is service.
Okay.
That is the highest service. That's in alignment with our highest selves.
So being of service will help you kind of hone in, narrow, and polish what that gift is. You'll get to feel and sense, where you get the most fulfillment, which will kind of guide and direct you towards your path. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yes, it's that. And it's also, here's another thing. How many of us have dealt with or have been that person? Okay, I'll be a fool. 10 years ago, I was this person. Oh my God, I don't want to get up and go to work. Oh my God, I don't want to do this. Oh my God. And it's one thing after another of complaint or upset or resentment or anger or frustration. Yet I was expecting to find my purpose in that state.
Right.
I can't, there's no way. You are not going to find your purpose in that state of mind.
That state of lack and scarcity and depravity and that low vibration, helplessness feeling. It's so much like my story. Like most people that know me know that I ran my furniture company for 15 years. 12 years into that, I awoke from a dream. So I've been running my company for 12 years. I'm achieving the success. I'm getting the notoriety. I'm gaining that business where I can actually start to feel comfortable living life and doing things. And I woke from this dream sobbing, just completely drenched. My pillow was drenched, sobbing in tears. And in this dream, I was before a coalition of something, some deities or whatever. And they asked me, Brian, if all you do with your life is build furniture for other people, will you consider your life well spent? And it wasn't derogatory. It wasn't judgmental. It wasn't condescending. If I had been able to answer them, yeah, this is what I'm supposed to do, they would have been delighted. The problem was the answer wasn't, yeah.
Right.
My answer to that was no. Like something deep inside of me knew that I was supposed to or needed to do more, that I had a gift beyond building furniture that would have a larger impact on the world than just building somebody a new bed or a dining room table or something like that. And I woke up from that dream with the realization that if that's all that I did, I would have personally considered my life wasted. And that's when I began the search. That's when I started to try to find a way to, okay, if I am meant to do more, what might it be? How do I be of service? How do I offer my gift? How do I figure out what my gift is? And then I shut down my business, spent a year traveling the world, not unlike your India story that we talked about in the podcast. Spent a year traveling the world, and that's where A World Empowered came to me. Meditating in the beautiful crystal blue water in Costa Rica, and A World Empowered just jumped out at me.
And remind me, Brian, too, I remember you shared this story with me, is while you were traveling, you were of service while you were there. Before A World Empowered was even born into existence, even before it was even an idea or a seed in your mind, you were a being of service.
Right.
You were going to villages and communities, providing services, and so I want real quick. I know I feel like but that right there, that's the secret sauce right there, because when you're in that flow, talking about manifestation, when you are in that vibrational flow of service and in alignment, that produces joy, that produces gratitude, fulfillment, satisfaction. And so you are going to attract ideas, thoughts, beliefs, opportunities, experiences, people abundance. That are a vibrational match. So you see how that you just through that journey, you already elevated yourself and then received the big idea.
I fully believe that we have an ego self and a higher authentic self. And the more that we can tap into and tune into that highest authentic version of ourselves, the more easy it is to stay in flow and to attract abundance, just to allow things to come to us. And the best way to be of that higher self, to be in alignment and acting from our highest self, is to be of service, to remove the microscope and the magnifying glass from my needs and what I want and my achievement and what I'm trying to gain, and try to put the focus on how do I help other people? How do I get, Jim Rohn used to say, you can have anything that you want if you help enough people get what you want, what they want, excuse me. Another thing that we talked about in our podcast that I definitely want to touch on is follow your joy. The difference between, because you spent all those years trying to climb the corporate ladder and force your way into achievement, and realizing that every achievement that you reached only met with less satisfaction. And the difference, the distinction, A, for abundance, and B, just for overall life fulfillment and following that joy. The importance of following the joy. So let's get back into that and touch on that again.
Yeah. So in full transparency, I am a very big achiever. Like, I am a high achiever. That is who I am.
Type A? Not anymore. Recovering type A?
I'd say recovering type A. I'd say, well, let me throw this out here. The divine masculine, the divine feminine energy. I show up in the role that I need to in the given circumstance or given the context of the situation. So sometimes I'll need to show up in the masculine energy. Other times I show up in the feminine energy. It just depends on what is needed at that moment. It's about going with that flow. But your question about the achievement, and this is something that I teach my clients, is that it is not shameful. You don't be ashamed to want high achieving things, to want to go after big goals out of your life. That's awesome. If that's what you want, that's okay. And if that's not what you want and that's not in alignment, that's also okay. It's about what's in alignment with you, what's resonant with you.
Why.
And why, exactly. Well, I'll get into that. So, but the reason being,
I
love it. I love it. The reason though, what's important to ask yourself when you are working towards a goal is first of all, ask yourself, why is it that I want this goal? Do I want the fancy house and the nice car and the job promotion because it's going to prove to my family that I finally made it,
or yourself,
or to myself, to compare to, so that it's going to show people in my coworkers that I can afford something like this? That is needy, desperate, controlling energy.
Ego-based, striving for validation.
Yes, it is needy, desperate, and controlling energy. Manifesting 101. Okay. This. Everyone knows this. What you are inside, you are going to attract more of. So if you are coming from that needy, controlling, or desperate energy, you are going to attract more of that same into your own life. Okay.
For sure.
Now, what I teach my clients is why exactly do you want this? And yes, sometimes that is what they want. Sometimes it might be something slightly different. And so we pivot and we align into what's in alignment. But what's important is that when you are achieving a goal, it must absolutely bring you joy. If it does not bring you joy, then you're going after it for the wrong reasons. If it does bring you joy, so for example, if I, as an entrepreneur, if you want to make an incredible amount of money, and it's not because you want to prove to people, but it's truly going to bring you joy because you can imagine all the amazing things you'll be able to do. Because let's be honest, money is power.
The people you'll be able to help, the experiences that you'll be able to have, the freedom that it'll provide, the security that it'll provide.
100%. That's joy.
Right.
Then we get into and take it a step further and say, okay, so now what do we do to start fostering those feelings now? To almost like, it's like, I don't know if trick is the right word, but you trick the universe. It's like that you trick the universe. So I almost feel like it's like you trick the universe. And I don't know if trick is the right word. I kind of seen if I vibe with that, but tricking the universe into saying, I already have this. I'm already abundant. I already am that successful entrepreneur. I already am making that impact. I am that person. The universe does not know the difference. The universe just matches you to where you are right now.
So in your experience, what's the best way to get into that vibrational state where you're coming from a place of joy and you can already imagine the sense of the feeling that you'll have when you've achieved the thing that that you're going for? Because oftentimes there's this cognitive dissonance thing where you're like the fake it till you make it, or I'm just going to act as if I'm going to pretend like there's $1 million in my bank account. And then they're like, wait, but you're broke. And this cognitive dissonance thing in the back of your head comes in, and this feels like this tug of war. So what's the best way to get into that vibrational state of feeling like, okay, I've already got the joy. I've already got the happiness. I've already got the security, without that cognitive dissonance thing kicking you back out?
I am so glad you mentioned that, because the cognitive dissonance is what creates resistance, and it actually can be detrimental.
Especially when you're trying to manifest.
Especially
if you're like, come here, and then it's like, push it away.
If you're telling yourself, this is why manifesting goes so much deeper than just the affirmations and the vision boards and the saging and smudging. As mainstream manifesting media would have you try to believe, it goes so much deeper. So I want to touch on what you just said, because if you are bankrupt and you're telling yourself, I am a millionaire, and you don't believe that, you are going to cause more harm. You're creating more resistance, and you're creating further and further more distance between you and what you actually desire.
Right.
So how do you narrow that gap? You narrow that gap through a couple different ways. Okay. Very first thing is start reframing the script that you're telling yourself to a place that is empowering. That you can believe, that you can subscribe to. So maybe you do want to be a millionaire one day, but right now you just can't get your belief system in alignment to that right now. That's okay.
Right.
Compassion, self-compassion and forgiveness, instant neutralizer to energy. It neutralizes the energy.
Right.
It neutralizes everything. And actually that's where you want to be when you're manifesting, is you want to be in a neutral state. You want to be in a very neutral state. So what happens then too is then you start to find scripts that actually do work, that do resonate. So maybe you're not a millionaire today, but you have an abundance of resources at your fingertips. Think of the internet. Maybe you have a financial advisor. Maybe you know someone. A friend is really savvy with money. You could write something or start reframing and building those new neural pathways that say, I have an abundance of resources to get me to where I want to be. And use that. It's a stepping stone. See, so many people want to just go from the cliff to the other side. It is one. How do you cross a river? When you're going on a hike, it's one stepping stone after another. that stepping stone, that first stepping stone was critical for your journey to the other side. And that next stepping stone is going to be critical. And then that next stepping stone. So it's about really just kind of coming back to that sense of presence and compassion and forgiveness, and just being like, okay, so what does resonate for me? What is empowering for me?
So rather than trying to jump from broke to I have 10 million in the bank, maybe a good affirmation might be, I'm safe.
Yes.
I will be provided for.
Yes.
I can earn what I need. Small stepping
Absolutely.
stones.
Absolutely.
Okay.
How does that feel? It feels
empowering.
I could feel
right?
the energy. It
disperses the heaviness and is ominous. Yeah, ominous is a good word for it. There's an ominousity. I just coming up with shit. There's a heaviness and an ominousness to some of these disparaging and disempowering beliefs. Like, I can't get from where I'm at, or I'm broke, and I want $1 million, or I believe I have $1 million, and it disperses that.
Yes.
It softens it out and makes it feel empowering and optimistic and hopeful. And okay, I can breathe.
Yes.
I'm safe. I can create. Maybe I don't have $1 million in the bank yet, but I can get there. I can learn, and I can grow from here.
Absolutely. And then you already are you're already coming from a higher vibration, from that energy, then you are going to attract more of those beautiful things, because you are then that match, you are that magnet.
Rather than coming from a place of fear, lack,
resistance,
it softens it out, gets you back to a state of equanimity, evenness, and then the doors open to actually attract and manifest what it is that you want.
Absolutely.
What it is that you're going for and striving for.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the perfect way to end this portion of the conversation. I hope that everybody enjoyed this and got so much value from this. If you liked anything that we had to say today, you'll definitely want to get in and listen to the podcast when it goes live. There's so much more in that hour-long conversation. I would like to invite you to follow my friend Jenn. If they would like to reach out to you and contact you, how do they get in touch with you?
Yeah, certainly. So you can find me on Instagram I am Jenn Adamson, and that's spelled JENN ADAMSON. So I'm on Instagram at I am Jenn Adamson. And and
if they go there, I know that you have a couple different offers and things going on. So
so come say hi. I mean, I love to hear where I get new followers, and I love to hear where you heard from me or heard of me. So come say hi. Tell me where you heard of me. I've been on a couple different podcasts lately. And then, if you're interested, I have a couple freebies out there. So I have, I'm launching my first ebook. It's the 5 secrets to manifesting the life of your wildest dreams with ease.
Nice.
So if you want to be on the wait list for that.
I like the with ease part.
Yeah, with ease. It's not
rather
a struggle.
Than the struggle and the fight.
Not the struggle. No, nope, not at all. That's not my vibe.
No, you got to go with the flow.
So you can put your name on the wait list for that. I also have a free abundance meditation. So I've been getting a lot of really positive feedback about that. And then also for the ladies out there, if this is of interest, I have an incredible sacred container called the Wild Soul Sisterhood. It is a group coaching container where these ladies are just phenomenal. They are literally manifesting things quickly. I mean, quickly. Nice. And it has been so beautiful to witness this, to guide, to be their coach through this journey. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, or it's resonant, send me a DM and I can get you in there as well.
Nice.
Awesome. Thank you,
Brian. For being here.
Yes.
If you guys liked or appreciated anything that we've offered today, again, listen to the podcast. It's phenomenal. There's so much more in there. And if you would like to support me and A World Empowered and what we do, please go to aworldempowered.com. Follow us on Instagram at A World Empowered, and consider joining our Patreon. We do different fundraisers like the monthly silent auctions, but a large portion of our funding and the ability that we have to write grants for other nonprofits comes from the Patreon account. So consider joining us there. You get bi-weekly stories on our F'd Up podcast of crazy, funny experiences that I've been through that had an empowering lesson. That's actually what F'd Up stands for, Empowered Fables. So you get all the paintings and different things that we've put together in the podcast, and it really helps out a lot. So stay tuned. In 2 weeks, we'll have another Dream Achiever series with another phenomenal, amazing guest. And please reach out to my friend Jenn. She's absolutely amazing. And thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here.
Oh, this was awesome. Thank you. Thank you,
Hi,
guys.